The Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor is the world's first stealth air superiority multi-role fighter jet. In addition to its radar-evading capabilities, it is renowned for its exceptional speed, maneuverability, and cutting-edge technology, making it the best combat aircraft for modern aerial warfare. Despite selling billions of dollars worth of military equipment each year, the US has never sold the F-22 Raptor to any of its close allies. Why hasn't the US allowed the F-22 Raptor to be shared? The fifth-generation F-22 Raptor is not just an air superiority fighter. It also functions as a ground attack, electronic warfare, and radar jamming platform, making it a versatile weapon. The aircraft, developed by Lockheed Martin, joined the U.S. fleet in 2005, but its planning dates back to the 1980s. In 1981, the U.S. Air Force launched the Advanced Tactical Fighter, ATF, project, aiming to create a new air superiority fighter, while simultaneously preparing a successor to the F-15 Eagle and F-16 Fighting Falcon. However, another motive was behind this development. In the late 1970s, the Soviets unveiled their formidable Su-27 and MiG-29 fighter jets. These jets, known for their speed and superb maneuverability, posed a significant threat in both air-to-air and air-to-ground combat, becoming a source of fear for the US and its European allies. During the Cold War era, the creation of the F-22 Raptor also aimed to diminish Soviet dominance in European airspace. The single-seat F-22 Raptor is powered by two Pratt & Whitney F-19-PW engines. These engines help reduce the aircraft's heat signature, making it harder to detect by enemy radars, while also significantly aiding in the aircraft's maneuverability. The jet can fly at a speed of 2,414 kilometers per hour without afterburner and reach a speed of Mach 1.8. The Raptor uses advanced alloy composite materials, fly-by-wire technology, high-power propulsion, and low observable stealth technology. Its structure incorporates advanced materials and stealth coating, allowing it to produce only a 0.001 radar signature, making it extremely difficult to detect by radar. Lockheed Martin stopped producing the F-22 Raptor after 2010, though initially 150 units were planned. The Pentagon decided to stop at 187, with the total project costing the US $108 billion. Each aircraft costs about 364 million USD, and the operational cost for just 1 hour of flight is around 72,000 USD, making the F-22 the world's most expensive fighter jet. In 2023, the US sold $237 billion worth of military equipment, and over the last 5 years, the total was $838.78 billion. Among the sold weaponry were small arms, short and long-range missiles, air defense systems, tanks, submarines, ships, drones, and the latest F-35 fighter jets. However, despite selling various types of military equipment, the US has never sold the F-22 Raptor to any ally. The fighter jet is exclusively used by the US Air Force, making it one of the most protected technologies in the US military. No NATO country was involved in the production or design of the F-22, and every aspect of its technology, from production to maintenance, is controlled by the US military. The reason for this exclusivity is not only to maintain air superiority, but also to prevent the technology from falling into the wrong hands or being used against the US itself. Countries like Australia, Israel, Japan, and other Western allies have long sought to acquire the F-22, repeatedly requesting it from Washington. However, the US consistently cited a specific law to deny these requests. In 1998, a law was passed in the US that prohibits the sale or sharing of any technical information regarding the F-22 Raptor with foreign countries.